thing on. Oh, that's right. Welcome to After 8 Hours HQ. After dark.
Wow.
I mean, it is kind of dark because the sun sets a little later.
I fucking hate the time
sick,
changes.
Dude. I hate daylight savings time, but you know what I don't hate?
What?
Sarah McLachlan. In the arms of the angel. For $1.99, you too can save this Pikachu's life. Fly away from here. That's right. Anyway, I was having a really good nostalgia session.
Yeah?
With those, like, you just wake up and you got the Bogotachi wa from Inuyasha.
Oh my gosh. I,
3 in the
woke up at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, with the Inuyasha and then, like, those random commercials.
Oh, yeah. They're like, this year's, like, top music, blah, blah, blah. Like,
and then, like, tell me how am I supposed to live?
Like, we all have this same shared cartoon
It's
trauma.
crazy. I was thinking about that, too, because, like...
True.
We do all this stuff, or we knew about things. So, for instance, Marilyn Manson removed his bottom ribs or whatever so he could...
Oh, before, like, social media.
Yeah, it's like before social media was there.
Yeah.
Like, everyone learned of these rumors,
because they're so outrageous at the time. Now,
yeah, but
I feel like there's OnlyFans people doing that all the time.
Lived experience, yeah, true.
All those
things.
Just
like, we learned or heard about that in, like, elementary school in Colorado.
So
but
true.
then some of my friends in Texas or New York or whatever also heard the exact same things. Well, that's wild to me.
Yeah, I think back then we cared about specific information we shared.
Okay.
And back then, when secrets were still secrets,
secrets.
Like, when they were valued, I think that's when you heard a piece of juicy gossip, like, it got around.
Like the missing no trick to...
Yeah. Or yes, that, like, I remember doing the duplication trick.
Yeah. In gold and silver.
And also more red and blue, talking to the dude in Viridian City.
Viridian City, yeah.
And then walking back down, and then, like, or, like, the Mew under the truck.
Yeah.
And all, or, like, I still remember looking at Peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
When it was just Meryl.
Peekaboo.
But I really wanted Peekaboo.
Yeah.
That was, like, a
we
dope
recently
thing.
watched Pokemon the first movie, I think.
Did you?
Remember? What was that? Oh, you might have left.
Yeah.
It was at George and Israel's housewarming party.
I did leave.
So we were watching the
early.
Pokemon the first movie. It's like just going through that
Oh
reaction
my
because like the
gosh.
actual proper armor Mewtwo,
The real one?
and like when Ash like fights the dude at the beginning, he has the Dawn fan, and everyone's
Yes.
like, "What the fuck is that?"
It was so cool. I still
Dawn
remember being in theaters watching that.
Yeah,
And Century 16, because again, that's my
that's
day
the
one
theater that we went to. Yeah,
Yeah, and
we got the cards, the promo cards.
dude, did I tell you back when WB had their competitions, I like placed in the competition.
Oh yeah,
I got like a ticket to go to a premiere. It was like somewhere in the plains,
Hell
and my
yeah.
mom was like, "I'm not driving you," and I was like, "But mom, I won," and she's like,
Come on,
"I don't
we
care."
need to go to Kansas City, Missouri, dude.
And it was one of those things, but like, I feel like the nostalgia thing ultimately, like when it comes down to like Pokemon Go,
Okay.
is always the thing. And like I was talking with Richie about it because we're talking about the whole Scopely thing and like what's going to happen.
Something happened.
Monetization changes. Yes, it did. So Niantic went and sold their work to Scopely, who bought it for like what, 3.5 mil or Bill
with a B.
with the B. Okay,
B
B like
bitch.
Bulbasaur.
Oh yeah, Bulbasaur.
Yes, and we're like, there's just lots of theories going around. I know on the community side, a lot of people are worried because there's a lot of I don't know what Scopely is other than that is a gaming company. They have one of their major, I don't know if it's, I would say HQ or whatever in like Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure exactly where.
They are based in LA. So it's a game studio that's actually based in LA now.
Okay.
However, they are pretty closely connected to the Saudi Arabian government.
Okay.
Saudi Arabian government has thrown a lot of money towards trying to at least buy some goodwill around the world, mainly with esports organizations and kind of video game stuff. So they actually, a lot of people don't know this, they actually own like, they have some shares in like Nintendo, for instance, and esports organizations and even sports organizations. So I think Cristiano Ronaldo, plays for a team that's based there because they have their own league going on.
Oh, okay.
And then they do a bunch of the esports tournaments, so they're connected to like League of Legends esports and like Overwatch, those types of things.
Yeah.
So that being said, they do have close ties. They do fund Scopely. And Scopely, as we know, they're a mobile game developer, again, based out of LA.
Yes.
And they're most known for their two top games are the Monopoly Now. You might have seen ads
Monopoly
for that.
Go?
Or Monopoly Go and Monopoly Now. It's something along those lines. But you might have seen ads for that kind of everywhere.
Wait, Kiki Palmer on that, or is that like a separate thing?
No, I think that's the same.
Okay.
So there's not for nothing they get celebrities to endorse their games and things all the time. I saw Remy playing it the other day. I thought that was kind of funny.
Like, what
he plays the most random games, but anyway,
he really does.
So that's one game that they're really well known for. I was saying ads because like I see them on like Instagram and X, Twitter a lot. It's just like scrolling. It's like all of a sudden there's a Monopoly. Play Monopoly Now or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Okay. I'll see it on Tumblr every now and then.
So there's that game, and then they have I think it's Marvel Strike Force or something like that. It's a Marvel mobile game.
Okay.
And the big thing that people were super worried about is how they monetize those games. Those games are heavily monetized. It's the ones you kind of like. It kind of feels like a meme, but like there'll be an ad on the screen. It'll be like if you watch 30 seconds of ads, we'll give you. In the case of I'll use Pokemon Go as an example. You watch 30 seconds of ads. We'll give you an incubator.
Yeah, and see, like I've seen that for like the Jurassic Park game because they'll do the same thing of like, do you want your regular free thing, or if you watch this 30-second video, we'll give you another little thing for free.
Yes. Or
if you want to do this, or like, hey, do you want to bypass this promotion for $6? And you're like, yep, bypass. And you just continue. To see
if Scopely was in. At all involved with that game, because that sounds very much in line with how they monetize their games. Now, the one thing that Niantic, to a fault in my opinion, really tried to hammer home with this whole transaction was they're keeping their entire team. They're like, the people that make the decisions at Niantic, the people that are developing the game that you love, blah, 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 all that stuff is like, we're keeping it the exact same. We're just changing ownership, essentially. And that's the part I was actually mostly disappointed with. Because I think, and this is, your mileage may vary when it comes to interacting with this game.
Yes.
But my issues with Pokemon Go, outside monetization's a whole nother topic, but like, my issues like with the core game itself with certain items that just haven't been updated. It's like they try to pride themselves on, we listen to you. We listen to the people. It's like, do you? Because I don't think you do. Because like the number one thing that people complain about is like the remote raid stuff.
Yeah.
Got way too expensive. You got remote raid limits. Then they undid the limits for Go Tour.
Yeah.
And
for most of the global events, they'll line up the load, or even for Mega Absol Day that just happened.
Yeah.
I think the raids were increased to like 20 remote raids.
Right.
So clearly they have the ability to dial it in, expand it, contract it, do what they want. And like you said, with them stating that they're keeping it, I took it as more of a PR move.
Yeah.
Because I think with anything, like, you don't want to freak out your fan base by saying, we're changing companies, good luck, everybody.
Everything's changing. Yeah.
And I think, and that makes perfect sense. I know with the whole community stuff from like from what I've seen on different Discords and such, is like people were fearful with the ties and history that Scopely has. I'm not super privy to all that, but I understand if people want to follow their principles and morals not to do certain things of the game. That makes perfect sense. I'm not going to say don't do that because of Pokemon. No, you should stick to your morals and values, and if that's something that you don't vibe with or whatever, make your personal choice. Now, to jump to certain assumptions based on that, that's where I kind of disagree, because I feel everyone needs to do their research to see like what the company represents or anything like that. Everyone already knows that your location information was already sold. Like, that was why we play the game. Like, they're just going to see me doing laps around the library. They're like, man,
it's been that way forever. Do you use TikTok? Do you use Facebook?
Right. All these things already track you. That's why, like, when those apps, so like, especially on iPhones, when do you want this app to share with other apps, like, or share or track you outside of this? Like, that's what it's gathering.
Yep.
That's why, to me, that's not necessarily a fearful thing. And then especially with like even recent stuff, people on Signal giving out plans and things on a more global perspective or international or government perspective, I feel like people are oftentimes just reckless by nature because they don't think anything is going to happen.
Absolutely.
And so with Pokemon, I don't think with the game itself, I'm more just sticking to the core of it. And like Scopely says, like, or what they're going to do, I'm curious what they're going to do as they veer away from the AR features of it that Niantic was originally focused on, and what gaming aspects. Now, some of the leaks I've been hearing, because that was one Rich and I were talking about, was they had mentioned potentials for Bottlecaps.
Yep.
That's a feature that's in the games now.
What is a bottle cap?
A bottle cap is an item that can help change your stats, which is great, or EVs. And with that, again, people in the Pokemon Go realm probably aren't super familiar with what EVs, IVs, all that, but it's like your attack, HP, and defense.
Yep.
In the Game Boy game or Switch games, there's also speed, there's special defense, special attacks, there's other elements involved, but they all kind of go around having like the Shundo or the Hundos, the Perfects.
Yeah.
So ideally, you could change your stats. So there's a lot of speculation like, oh, that's going to be behind a paywall. Of course that is.
Yeah, naturally.
And I think it'd also be like a featured item with Go Fest, Go Tour, Go Wild, because they want people to play. Now, do I think that's just going to be an item in the store? No. Simply for the fact, like, if people, depending on what its limitations are.
Yeah.
I think a reasonable limitation would be you can only improve attack, HP, and defense 2 stats only.
Okay.
Max. And so with Golden, or with the Golden Bottle Cap, it could affect 3 IVs or 3 stats. So I think you can only like use 2 of those to improve it 2 stats, and that's the max it will go.
Right.
I think that way, so you don't break the Pokemon economy that is within Pokemon Home, people who are going to be, because with, is it Pokemon Challenge or Champions? Is going to be the new like battle systems,
like a battle arena.
Yeah. So I don't think they're going to want to jeopardize that, especially because they've already been talking about Home's connection with it.
Right.
So if Pokemon Go, and again, once you get a good Pokemon, you transfer it to Home, it's there forever. Like it has a new permanent residence there, but it can find other lives in other games, which is great if it's transferable over there. So I think there's going to be some sort of cap on it, because they're not going to want to break their whole economy to where you can basically build a Pokemon from 10, 10, 10 all the way up. I don't think that'd be good, because then that would kill almost all your rating.
I think it would
if you were to do that.
Because again, like you said, it connects to Home.
Yeah.
It's a good way to farm perfect IV stuff for other games. If you're looking at just the Pokemon Go ecosystem, it's like the PvP stats are a little funky.
They
Most of the
really
time you
are.
Want high defense, high HP, low
0
attack. Doesn't matter. And so, like, being able to manipulate your stats to a point to be able to get the perfect Pokemon for those opportunities is kind of interesting. I know it appealed to people that, like, they got like the clones when they were out.
Yes.
They're like, I only got a 98%. Or like the Mew, the mythical Pokemon that we only get 1 each of something. It's like, I got a 96%. Or I got a 98. Like, I'm just 1 stat block off for being perfect. I think Bottlecaps would definitely appeal to those people too.
Yes.
That's an item I wouldn't be surprised them coming out. I mean, I thought it's kind of funny, just getting back to the monetization for a little bit, is like Niantic was already doing crazy monetization things with Pokemon Go, even though it was a little bit more, I guess, hidden, for instance, in the sense of like this new Pokemon releases, but it's only in eggs. So the best way to get it is to hatch as many eggs as possible, spin as many stops as possible to get the eggs you need. Well, how do you do that, Jack? Oh, we only have 1 infinite incubator?
No.
So unless I'm like walking for 50 miles a day to hatch some eggs, which some people can. Whatever.
Some people can.
I can't.
That's kudos
I'm
to
going
you.
to probably buy incubators to try to maximize that event.
Yes.
Similar with the rating stuff. Yes, you get a free pass every day. Some of us are fortunate enough to be sitting on a lot of premium raid passes, but some people aren't. And so it's like, there's this new Pokemon, it's only in raids. How do you get an opportunity to get the new shiny just dropped? How do I get a shiny? Got to raid for it. Or I want to get a perfect one without the bottle caps. I got to raid for it. And so it's like I'm buying raid passes for that. And yes, they got decent deals in the boxes. That's how they get you. But for the most part, a lot of new Pokemon, new exciting things from Niantic's leadership have come through these paywalls. And I'm going to call it a paywall because, like, yes, technically it's free if you play fully free. You can still have an
You
opportunity
can do
for
gyms
it.
and
Yeah.
but like we've done the
But
math
it
behind
is-
that. It's
a
insane
lot.
how much.
Versus I can pay $8 to get another Cub Fu, for instance, in this
Yes.
newest one.
Oh yeah, you get like 2 Cub Foos.
Yeah,
out of
you
that
do.
research.
You get extra Cub Foos.
Heck yeah.
And the idea is you get to because there's 2 Urshifus,
Yeah.
Rapid Strike and Single Strike. But anyway, point being is like the only other way to unlock that is to pay for it. So they already went down a weird monetization route. I'm not necessarily worried about how Scopely's going to do it. The only thing that might bother me if Scopely does what they do with their other games is jamming ads into the Pokemon Go UI and experience.
That wouldn't be cool.
That would bother me. Ads already bother me on streaming services and things like that.
Well, especially with all the crashes and glitches that happen already.
Correct. So that's what
Yeah.
I was excited. If I was going to be excited about anything about Scopely acquiring Pokemon Go, is that they have more game development resources to hopefully make the game itself better. Because if you strip down a lot of these gacha games, gacha being a game that you pay a lot of money into, or you can pay a lot. You can technically pay them free. So, for instance, you've heard of Genshin Impact, maybe, or Zenless Zone Zero. A lot of jiggle physics in these games.
Stop.
They appeal to a lot of waifu collectors out there. But essentially, those games, if you strip it down to just the core gameplay of those games, they're fantastic. They're phenomenal. However, they are like for comma exactly. They are built for you to spend money on those games to get the best characters, to get the best weapons for those characters.
Yeah.
And it's usually like it's that kind of dangerous gambling avalanche where it's like open this box and you get a chance to do it. But if you spend $10, you get 50 boxes. But if you spend $100, you get 10,000 boxes. You know, it's like the economy's ridiculous, but like they incentivize you to spend more money. So that's what I'd be worried about. Monetization wise, but as far as the game development wise, that's the part that I was like kind of looking at it positively in terms of the Scopely acquisition. So I think, I don't know what other rumors you heard. I saw one talking about remote Gigantamax and remote
I think that'd still be chaotic for the simple fact that still going to Gigantamaxes, it's nice. But a lot of people, because I've seen it in other realms, and people who still aren't prepared, still don't do the research, you can still have 40 and still tank it.
Correct.
So people still need to do that due diligence. Like we had recently the Dynamax Raikou raids.
Yes.
And we had groups, and we were in person, mind you.
You tell me Squirtle can't take that Raikou, dude?
Well, someone used a Squirrel, another person used Wooloo.
Okay.
And it still helped, but the thing that got to me was when people are trying to coordinate in person and they're not talking. Like it was to the point where other players were like kind of like getting group frustrated and being like, "Stop hopping out of the raid, please," because people were so adamant about raiding with each other.
Yes.
And to me, I'm like, if you already have a group of 4, you don't need to follow us.
Correct.
The whole point of the group being together is to help one another out. But if you have your own agenda, that's not helping, because then if 3 people hop out of 3 separate raids, you just fucked over 12 people.
Correct.
And now those 12 people have to restart. So I was oftentimes sitting there with my account waiting at least 10, 15 minutes, watching people go through. They get to the last round and be like, "We didn't make it." And I'm like, "All right, I'll hop in to help you." Help them. Then another group would be like, "We didn't make it either." Okay, I'll hop out to help you, because they only had 3s.
Yeah.
And people weren't exactly speaking up. As the group kind of thinned out after people did their initial 1 or 2 raids, it was a lot smoother. So it's just folks not understanding what to come prepared with.
Yeah.
Which again, take that minute or 2 to read, like, or watch a quick YouTube short about like how to fight this. I think really helps.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up just because the whole idea of re-education has been kind of a hot topic for me in general for a lot of things, mainly with shit I'm doing at the airport, but I can get into that separately. But anyway, when it comes to things like, because Gigantamax and Dynamax isn't as brain dead, I would say, as raiding or gym fighting.
Correct.
In that you're just tapping a screen, charging up, getting your max thing, doing your thing.
Yes.
It takes a lot more coordination, and I think in this case it is more challenging, so it takes a lot more understanding of, hey, I'm running into a full electric, boss.
Yes.
I can't be using only water or flying Pokemon.
Correct.
Because I'm gonna get my shit rocked. And even sometimes when you prepared for that kind of stuff, the boss Pokemon's still difficult in general in those scenarios. So like the Lapras. The Sailboat Lapras, when it was using Skull Bash.
Oof.
We're like, we're prepared for this. We're good. And it Skull Bashes and
It's
takes out it's like it just kills you.
Oh yeah.
Like it took our large party of people. Now the benefit was most of the people we were with at that time understood what the assignment was.
Yeah.
For a lack of better term.
They were readies.
Versus like the game just never has done a good job at explaining these mechanics. So I want to go find out how to maximize Dynamax and Gigantamax raids, right? I'm showing up to the Aurora Masters event at AMC. And I'm hoping that if I'm already doing that, I did the research in terms of what's a good Pokemon to have or to power up, because it takes a lot of resources. So
it really does.
You don't want to be willy-nilly with your resources. What do I need? And then what's the best way to maximize this? So like, hey, we're going to have 18 people. Cool. Let's make sure everyone's got a group of 4. Yeah. And that last one will be 2. But like, we'll figure it out. And then if you do lose, don't just leave. You can sit and cheer, and that it helps marginally, but it still helps. Yeah. It's like, but they don't. Well, people don't know that, and the game doesn't tell you, hey, by the way, you should do this.
Like, keep cheering.
They are completely reliant upon community ambassadors and leaders to teach these people things, and sometimes people aren't willing to listen, or they're distracted, or whatever it is. Yeah. So I wish there was a better system for that. When you are coordinating, or if you are like, hey, I see a bunch of people doing this thing, and maybe you're unsure, please feel free to ask. Because ultimately I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to, I don't mind holding your hand through it if you want that, but I'm not going to just shove my hand in your face.
Well, like we've mentioned before, it's about showing that effort. Yeah. So if you're there, because I know we had one, I think it was like the Fuecoco Community Day, and there was the Gigantamax, Charizards, Blastoise, and Venusaurs out that same weekend. There was a group focused on that, which is fine. I was focused on getting my crocodiles. And then afterward, I was like, okay, I'm going to go play. And I went and did a raid. And there was like 2 groups. One group finished and they walked away. Mm-hmm. And I noticed, because the group I hopped into was already at like 15. I was like, this is already kind of bad news bears. But the raid was already starting. And I'm like, okay, hopefully people were prepared. I'll just kind of observe.
Right.
We're doing it. I'm watching. And I'm noticing people not I can see them the look of defeat, especially as we dropped to getting to the single digits, and it was more than half not dead. And I was like, this isn't good. Yeah. And there was a lot of people who walked up, and they were just kind of standing there looking around no one's saying anything to shit. And again, I understand that whole nervousness to speak up, especially in a group setting.
For sure.
And that's where I just kind of casually hey, we're not going to beat this. You guys want to restart? Yeah. And I saw a couple heads go up, and I see they're the thumb is up, and I'm cool. Because again, the game has a lot of introverts. Yeah. And that's A-okay.
That's why I appreciate your kind of, I would say, gentler approach in that instead of barking commands, we'll go out and just kind of hey, we see this group is kind of huddle, or kind of patches of groups huddle. Walk up to them, engage them softly. Just be hey, are you guys doing this? Do you need help? Or, hey, do you mind if we restart? Or do you mind if we're waiting? Are you waiting? Kind of figuring out that information. Mm-hmm. I think it's helpful, and I think that goes a long way. Yeah. In terms of hey, I'm trying to feel comfortable. Because I am, for what it's worth, I would consider myself an omnivert, but I'm definitely introvert leaning. My social battery fills up so fast, and then I'm checked out. I appreciate those types of gestures, and like you said, it's tough sometimes. I don't like speaking up, even though I'm loud as shit, or my Japanese. Yeah,
your voice can get up there.
Or my Japanese is very very sharp. I can talk for days if I get comfortable about it. But
well, and I think it also goes back to what we have historically experienced. Here in Aurora, where we had people who were hit higher octaves than the typical person, and they were separating people by group. There's a lot of micromanagement, and a lot of people don't like it, to the point where the reason why I think a lot of people came over to Aurora Masters, or just left some of those Facebook groups that were doing it, were simply because the management, they didn't like being micromanaged in that style. Or being yelled at in that style. And then they met other groups like Aurora Masters and all the different other Aurora groups that were We're Mallower. We just like to raid, and we like to just talk to each other like we're people instead of like being lectured at or being scolded. And I was like, and that's what got me involved because everyone's like, like people who, because again, for folks that don't know with Aurora Masters, a lot of the leads were selected by the representation in the community. So like groups were picked based on your team, be it Mystic, Valor, Instinct, and then how you kind of carried yourself. So if they saw you notoriously helping out people or like collaborating on your own without being prompted and there was no like power hungriness, there was no like need for control, you're just there to play because you enjoyed the game, it was why leads were selected.
For sure.
And so, and that's what the group has kept kind of like with this whole thing going forward. And with different things, like we can spot the need for the help, and that's why we'll speak up when we do. Oftentimes, we're just trying to be mellow because we're just like anyone else. Like I had a long work week. Pokemon's my downtime. But every now and then, if I do see people needing that help, or like if I see like a group, I think our instinctual thing is to be like, is everything good?
Right.
You guys need any help?
Yeah.
And I think that's great because I think people resonate with that more. And I know in today's group, or today's, because they're definitely a newer gen of Pokemon players.
Yeah, for sure.
There are some that resonate with the more kind of influencer style of like presentation where it's like, hey, chat, like, and they're kind of engaging it like that, which is fine. That's not the style for everybody. And that's why it's good that there's different styles throughout the community that people can kind of engage with. Going forward with the coordination for raids, because that's always been kind of a delicate issue. I know I've even been contacted because someone is like, hey, Jack didn't do so hot in this raid, and I got like constructive criticism. Like they like went out of their way to talk to me. Yeah. And I was like, oh no, I get that one off. It does happen. I acknowledge my mistake and I'm going to keep going forward. And they're like, oh, cool.
Like, no, you're supposed
like
to be
you got that. Well, and I think that's where there needs to be kind of that realization that people who are doing the leading of any capacity, be it ambassador or just regular lead or anything, whatever title you have, admin, that this is all volunteer. Like we're not getting paid to do this, but we want to help out to the capacity that we do. Dude, if I was getting paid for Pokemon, like that'd be, it would be cool, but at the same time, like it would be sick. And if anything, I just want Niantic to take some of our like ideas that we've had here and just implement them.
Scopely.
Or Scopely, yes, now. And implement some of those ideas. So like the stuff with the bottle caps, like please do that. Don't make it to where people can just pay from a 10, 10, 10 and get all the way up to a 15, 15, 15.
Why not?
I don't think it'd be good. And plus, like you said, in other Pokemon Go tournaments, it's not useful. But I just don't want people to all of a sudden flood to go just to get those Pokemon. Yeah. Because that would just be insane.
So, here, I'm going to go through something real quick. And this kind of goes in line with what we're talking about. But it's relying on the community to teach the rest of the community, which I can see that. I brought up the next Gigantamax coming out is going to be one I've been looking forward to for a while.
Snorlax.
The Snorlax. Yes. So the update was, don't sleep on this giant opportunity. Gigantamax Snorlax emerges in a new battle day. And you're like, cool. And then it tells you about the time. And, the date and the time, that's cool. It's going to be Saturday, April 19th, between 2 and 5 p.m. your local time. If you didn't know that, awesome. Then it goes Gigantamax debut. It's going to be a 6-star max battle.
Yes.
So that's the only thing you know about how difficult this will be. It's a 6-star max battle. Spoiler alert, those things smack.
Yes.
Then they have event bonuses. Following bonuses will be active. So max particle collection limit increased to 1,600. Okay. All power spots will host Gigantamax battles. It says all power spots will host Gigantamax battles. Curious to see how that works.
About time.
Power spots will refresh more frequently. Interesting.
Cool.
8 times max particles from power spots with 2 additional special trades allowed.
That's
nice. Kind of cool. And then the following bonuses will be active during that time. On April 19th from 12 a.m., so midnight, to 5 p.m. local time. So midnight before the raids actually pop at 2 p.m., all the way to the end of the event at 5 p.m. It's going to be 2 times max particles from exploring, quarter adventuring distance to receive max particles. So that's cool. Then it gives you a little, for these bonuses to apply, blah, 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 blah. Trainers collect max particles via nearby menu, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Then it goes timed research, right? There will be timed research available leading to the event. Complete the timed research to encounter Dynamax Pokemon that are strong contenders for battles against Gigantamax Snorlax.
Okay.
So these tasks will also award candy and max particles to help power up your team. Always nice to have.
Yeah.
And then it says April 16th, between 6 p.m. on April 16th to April 19th at 5 p.m., so the same time as the Snorlax, a little bit before and the same time, Dynamax Machop will be available. So that kind of gives you a hint on what you should use. Kind of build up. But I guess the point I'm getting at is that's all they tell you.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to go out. Okay, sick. Aurora Masters is probably going to do Gigantamax Snorlax Max Battle Day. Well, I'm just using us as an example.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw a post from Jack. I'm in Campfire. I see a post from JackJack1620 saying, hey, there's an event here and you're invited. Okay, I'll do the invite. And unless you tell me in said invite or whatever on Campfire, if I manage to see it there, unless you tell me, hey, by the way, this is going to be tough. Make sure you power up Machop or another fighting type or something like that.
And see, I'm a little nervous because doesn't Snorlax have Zen Headbutt or something like that?
Correct.
So that's a psychic move that it can be like hitting you with.
Correct. That's why these things are very difficult.
Yes.
However, and you're lucky that a normal type isn't super effective against anything. It just hits.
Just hits.
Hyper Beam hits hard.
Yes.
Skull Bash hits hard. You know, that kind of stuff. But I guess what I'm getting at is through all this news that the Pokemon Go sends you to on their official Pokemon Go Live website, it doesn't really it doesn't tell you on how to battle these Gigantamax raids. It doesn't tell you what to max out. It mentions the Machop. It mentions you'll be able to buy a timed research if you want special access to a Pokemon that could help you in the G-Max battle. There's an Ultra Ticket box for $5. You'll get a bonus Max Particle Pack. Pretty cool. And the Max Mushroom, another item that I can purchase that will help me get max power to help take down these things. That's cool. That's there. But I guess I don't see anything about how do I fight this thing or how do I help. So I'm a newer player. I don't know. I've never done a Gigantamax before, but Snorlax is my favorite Pokemon, right? I love the little fucking tree coming out of its stomach. I think that looks cute. It's cool.
All right.
I have Machop. I have Squirtle. I have, because I just so happen to have one of those spots next to my apartment.
Cool.
I have Charmander. I love Charizard. It's my favorite Pokemon card. So, like, I'm going to power up Charizard because I want to use that. Or, sorry, Charmander, maybe into Charizard. I didn't have enough to power up all the way to Charizard and get, like, it says max power 1 or max punch.
That should be good enough.
Max cock 2, 3, whatever it's called. All right. I could only do that once, but I should be good, right? And then we'll show up.
Okay.
And it's going to give me the auto-generated team, which is going to be... I picked up a Wooloo, so it's going to be Squirtle, Wooloo, and I guess Charizard probably is going to be there.
Yeah.
Is that good enough to help you take down Gigantamax Snorlax?
And you want my honest answer?
Answer.
It would depend on everyone else with you, too.
Correct. You will need help. Yes, all right?
Ultimately, at the end of the day.
And what I'm getting at is unless you teach me how to fight or what to do, Pokemon Go, Niantic or Scopely, regardless, has not given me proper information to do that. So, again, the re-education of all the systems in the game. This includes gymming, because gym etiquette is nowhere to be found anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely there's a few of some of the OG players. I feel like we're just dwindling in numbers.
Yeah. The rating aspect is easy. I get in there, there's 10 other people with me. I'm going to tap that screen. The auto generation team is good enough for me.
Yeah, like we can literally be having the same conversation and tapping.
But that's because that system is so basic and hasn't been updated in 7 years or whatever.
Yes.
I would like it to be updated. I think it should be more engaging. However, I fear that if they do that, people won't know how to play.
Unless again, they give you the on-screen direction.
I'm still on my soapbox, but ultimately, you get what I'm getting at. That was like, it's obscene to me There's like,
well, and that's why I appreciate some of the folks like that are honest about their opinion of it. Like that, some of them feel it's a gimmick,
yeah,
and I'm like, it is, but it is a feature of the game that is there, that has existed.
it's arguably the most challenging part of Pokemon Go right now.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it fun. The particles. What I suggest to people, if they are like newer players coming in, is to just like save your best Pokemon, make a team of them, and you can do that. Go to battle, make teams, so you have a preset team.
Correct.
So that way, when you're facing something, you can just swipe over to your team.
Yeah.
Swipe to the left, so that way it brings it over, and then your team is there.
For Gmax and Dynamax.
For Gmax, Dynamax. Because again, with Snorlax, for example, because it's a normal type, a lot of stuff can be used against it as long as it's powered up.
I'm just terrified of the defense stat. But anyway.
The defense stat is going to be up there. So that's where like Machamp or...
like, did you do Dynamax or Chanseys?
I haven't. Oh, I did those fights. They were really easy.
Right.
But it's also kind of a matter of like, as long as you had like your fighters there.
Correct.
You could still work, and like Machamp's still did great with it. You could duo it, you could single it as long as it was powered up. A lot of new players, just because they don't have the resources, and by resources, that's candy. Correct. This is where the gimmick of Dynamax and Gigantamax really favors the day one players or the more consistent players, because they have the candy stores to power it up to a degree. Now, do I recommend maxing it out right away? No. Because there's missions as this game has progressed that require you to max out a move. Correct. So if you max out every Pokemon's move that you have, then you have to go and catch yet another Pokemon, maybe one that you don't want to max out, in order to complete that research. So little things like that, like again, it's the whole thing, hurry up to wait, that I've been taught. Yeah. And it combats FOMO, fear of missing out, for the simple fact that like, everything comes in due time. Correct. So don't rush doing all this stuff.
Except for Keldeo.
Keldeo, he'll be out eventually. But like with all this stuff, like you're going to hurry up for what? Like you're going to finish the mission, then you're not going to have anything else to do. That's why a lot of people got bored of the game, because they immediately rushed and got that immediate hit of endorphins, and they were good.
It frees me from my shackles, Jack. I can then finally be free to do the things I really want to do in life, which is not play Pokemon Go. Yes.
No, but
yeah, I mean, that, like you said, that's a fundamental game design thing, though. It is what it is. Yeah. Like, they do try to get you to buy into FOMO, because that's the thing that sells the most in terms of like, stuff in the shop. Yeah. But like, if you can be at least somewhat disciplined, you don't have to give in, and it'll come in due time.
Well, and like I shared with you before, like I literally gave a dissertation at my job on Pokemon Go, and I was able to talk for an hour straight without even covering Dynamax, Gigantamax. And like the folks who I was telling to was like, oh my goodness. And maybe that's why, again, with some of our events we do, like highly encourage people to check out other events if it's not just raiding, whatever, because there are other elements to the game. Like we had a Golden Lure party. Didn't go as hot as I had hoped for the first time, for the simple fact it was paired with the Community Day Classic. Totodiles. Here I promoted it. I put it on the different socials. Hey, we're going to do Golden Lures. We're going to go from 2 to 4 with Golden Lures. And the first wave went off beautifully. Like people showed up there doing it. And nothing bad to the players that like showed up. They were there for the reasons I was. But then as soon as the lures ended, because Golden Lures are special lures, they don't set for 3 hours. Right. And so as I'm trying to get my lure in for the Golden, other people put in the regular lures, and it just...
Yeah, and then you don't have... You can't override a lure.
You can't override a lure, which is highly unfortunate, but it makes sense. Again, I can't just... Me, as a default, am not going to scream to the heavens, don't put down lures, I got it, this is all me. That is not...
Hear me out. Scopely. If someone puts down a regular pink lure, give me the opportunity to fuse it with a special lure.
That, or if I have a better lure, like that's maybe if I have a golden, lure, I can like put it on and it like gives them back their lure. Oh, okay. Just to be like, hey, someone's putting this lure in instead. Like only for golden.
Right? You just pull the chip out and then put in the
only
golden chip.
For goldens. Okay. Like let them be able to drop a golden, have it be a golden override to any lure if they want to put it on.
Dude.
Yes.
Lure hacker, man.
Let's do that instead. So that way there's no like weird programming. It's just an override. If someone wants to use the golden lure at that moment, they can.
Yeah.
Let them. It will still keep the life of the other one. Mm-hmm. It'll just move it 30 minutes. I think that's programmable.
I think that's fun. Yeah, I think you can do it. That's all.
So
that's what I'm saying.
That's my Scopely. Take that idea.
You have the resources. Just get into it.
Yeah.
Just get it.
Right. And so like there's that. But so people understanding how golden lures work, I think there's education there.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Wayfarer, I think this whole new group of people probably don't know what Wayfarer is. Wayfarer is how you as a player, I think you have to be above level 35.
Yeah, because
or at least level 40.
It was 40, and then I think they dropped it a little bit.
Yeah, I thought 35. They dropped it, but it's how you're able to nominate areas in your neighborhood, whatever, to be a potential Pokemon stop.
Correct.
You have to take photographs. You have to take one close up, one far away, so they can see the surroundings.
Correct.
Give it a name, give it a description, and then give an additional description as to why that is important.
Right, and they do ask. They like because you can technically submit whatever you can take a photo of. Now, I would recommend outside of people are going to meme it all the time. Like they slap giant bad dragon on someone's car and say, "Oh, there's a unicorn in my neighborhood" or something, whatever.
Unicorn,
but like. Don't do that because you're just going to waste everyone's time. However, if you do like a little library is a good one that you see kind of throughout neighborhoods.
Yes, that's a great one.
Or there's a brand new mural, and I mean like a maybe somewhat proper mural or good graffiti.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, this enriches the neighborhood or the environment.
Yeah.
That's usually a good candidate. And so yeah, the idea is you can nominate stops to try to get more resources into your game.
It's a way to showcase different features of your community.
And again, the re-education aspect of that. When is the last time you heard about Wayfarer in Pokemon Go?
Aside from when I promote it, never.
You're an OG player, so you've been playing for at least a couple of days. So
yes,
what I'm saying is, I mean, I haven't started a new account. I don't know what they tell you when you're going up the ranks or whatever anymore.
It hasn't really changed.
I think the new player onboarding is probably dog ass, but like...
Well, I don't think there's an onboarding thing. It's just, it just hops you right into the mission. So you select your stuff. Because I was there when my like intern started.
Right.
And he was like, immediate, you get to do your stuff, catch one of your starters.
Right.
And it's
Did you know if you don't pick a starter, the Pikachu shows up?
Yes. I did hear about that.
I had no clue.
Then it's like you spin your gym, you pick your team,
okay,
and then from there you just kind of go.
And then it just releases you into the wild.
Yeah, you start getting missions.
On, little guppy.
Yeah, good luck.
You're a baby turtle on the ocean, on the beach.
It's very much like what I would expect a 10-year-old kicked out into the wilderness to become the Pokemon Master would experience.
Correct.
So that's cool, but in the same breath, like that realm, that's the given. It's either live or die. But with Pokemon, you could be a casual player and still not understand what's going on.
Oh, for sure.
And even some of our experienced players have come up and like, I don't understand this new gimmick.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense. If they haven't dedicated time, that's why, again, it's helpful to kind of meet people. If you see a person more than twice, introduce yourself. Say, hey.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the community aspect that Niantic doesn't encourage you to do, but I know we're all taught not to talk to strangers. I do get that. I do appreciate that.
About? I call a stranger to pick me up every day, dude.
Yeah, strangers make my car, make my meals, make my this. Like
get into this stranger's car. The exact opposite of what they told us when we were kids.
I still think obviously use your context clues. If you get a bad vibe, trust your instincts. But I feel most of the Pokemon Go players are pretty mellow, and some don't mind being engaged with, and ask a question. If they look at you weird, you just walk away.
So hear me out. Aurora Masters or whatever Pokemon Go tutorial video.
Well, I think that might be good. We should do
in the style of like The Office, some really dry humor, just really terrible. I want the dude from the Clear Eyes commercials back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
So
I think it would be helpful. Pokemon like there's. Go. To me, that's why there's plenty of YouTubers that do also have TikTokers as well that have plenty of shorts that like go through and explain certain things. But I don't think it like would be bad to add to that pot of knowledge.
I'm
For the
just
simple
saying-
fact, like there's so many newer players that are just
So,
like,
one thing we've talked about was the kind of spring cleaning
Yes.
of Aurora Masters, and I think that's something we could put together. I
Yeah.
think it'd be kind of fun for new
well,
players.
and we did already. Like we
and
did a
even old
whole
players.
terminology thing with explaining terms and what is a hundo. If people aren't aware, like I explained that. What's a perfect?
bands on
What's
bands
this?
on bands on bands.
We explained like typical resources people can use. We have a channel for infographics and resources.
Yep.
And I think all that helps. And again, with Aurora Masters as a Discord, we even have even more stuff. We talk about Pokemon Sleep. We talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and developments happening there. So the Discord is just Pokemon in general in life.
Correct.
So that's where it's like it's separate from.
But I just want to film a video,
We could. I'm not saying we can't,
risque or not.
but I don't think it's. I wouldn't be risque in a Pokemon video, but that's where I think Campfire doesn't have that feature where you can put videos. It's just purely text
Of course.
and images of your Pokemon.
Right.
And that's where it's like that's where I feel like
Just letting-
maybe that might evolve. I don't know what's going to happen with Scopely and
I'm just letting
and
Scope
Campfire.
know that I would be happy to do a tutorial. I can't promise it'll be the best tutorial.
well,
But
and that's where to me it's like maybe that's where they can engage the community, like make us tutorial videos and whichever one we like we'll put up, and you like that could be cool.
that's what I'm saying.
That could be a social engagement thing to get the community
Because-
active.
I mean, I've watched a couple of Pokemon Go YouTubers,
Yeah.
and they do kind of all the same thing. They're like, I went to this event, or this is the new event dropping this weekend, and then they play the event, and that's about it. So it's like, and like not for nothing, they're good at what they do. They're obviously content creators for a reason. They
Yeah.
make money off the game, which is awesome. Get
Hell
your
yeah.
bag. But it's like
Get 'em.
because we're already so ingrained in the game and we've played it forever and we've more or less grown up with it. But I was gonna say when a new feature or something drops, we're there at the onset of it, and then we're there thereafter.
We
So
hit the ground running. We're like, eh.
correct. So it's like we adjust. So the first time Gigantamax Dynamax dropped, we're like, oh shit, these things got hands, or whatever.
Those things were tough.
And we learned, and
We evolved.
You get more resources
We grew.
the more you play, and now they're a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But like that's just one of those things. Again, we understand that aspect of it, but the new player that just moved to Aurora 4 weeks ago that hasn't played Pokemon Go, and this is an opportunity for them to join a community and be part of it.
Yeah.
They just don't know what they don't know, first of all. And secondly, it's like, has anyone given them an opportunity to learn those types of things? So maybe not. Maybe I'm showing up again to G-Max Snorlax with a Wooloo because I have a shiny one.
Hey, that's fair to flex. Do it.
But like, there's only 12 people, and we can do it with 12 people as long as everyone has a Machamp. That kind of thing. So it's like,
Yeah. And for a lot of folks, like I've had a couple of people ask that too. I always recommend going in with at least 20 to 25 people.
yeah,
25 is pretty much the max I've seen you need at the like lowest number.
agreed.
If you hop in with a group of 40 and you see a group next to you that has 18, hop out and join them,
Yeah.
because that's why I think a lot of people don't understand is you don't need 40 people to take that boss down.
No. And it's nice to do it faster, sure.
Yeah, but
like-
like it sucks when you look over and fellow players are struggling or don't even make it.
Yeah.
And that happens when you have too big of a group and not enough coordination there. Or and again, that's to anybody. That's not no one is perfect in this realm, but that's where it helps to speak up. If you see your group with 40, glance over if you have friends who are with you and they're like, "Oh, I'm in the other lobby," and you see it's below.
Yeah.
Hop out and help them, but like again, just make sure like if you do, just say it quietly. Don't say it out loud, because then that can cause a mass jump, lead to a lot of confusion.
All of a sudden, 20 people jumped out of the first pack.
We don't want that either. But if you see like the lobby is starting and you back out real quick,
Yeah.
most likely that other group, they might dwindle down to like the low 30s.
Sure.
That's not going to hurt them.
They can still
They'll
do
still
it.
be
It
able
might
to
take 10 seconds longer, but they'll
Oh,
still be
no.
able to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously use your judgment there.
Yeah.
And understand that this, again, this is one of the more challenging things in the game, and we're going to keep hammering Dynamax, Dynamax for a little bit. But it's one of those things that does require a level of coordination that some people might not be used to.
Right.
And then ultimately, some people just might not be aware. So like you said, I see a bunch of people gathered over there. I'm going to go join that group. They just finished, or there's a second group gathering, but there's only 12 or 18 people in your case, like you're explaining.
Yeah.
So it's like, I was in the group of 40. Maybe I should help those guys. Like I said, use your best judgment and understanding. But I do think there needs to be a baseline for everyone to start at, and I think it's missing severely from the game, and relies on community ambassadors and leaders and everyone to help kind of bring them along. And it doesn't even have to be a leader. Anyone in the community can teach. But it's just like, if you see a player that looks a little lost, feel free to help them.
Yeah, or if you're a newer player, like, a good question is, did you guys already finish? Mm-hmm. That's a great one, because if they're like, no, we're just starting, or they're like, yeah, we did, you could be like, oh, okay, and just kind of follow from there.
Right.
Because we have a bunch of players that will come from other areas, which is perfectly fine, because if they see a group, you might have someone who's never been to Aurora.
Okay.
That's one thing I always have to remember when I use like acronyms like AMC. People oftentimes, which makes sense,
go to the
think of the movie theater, and I'm like, no, the Aurora Municipal Center. And they're like, oh, I never would have guessed that. I was like, that makes sense. So that's why now in a lot of my advertisements, whenever I say AMC, I put Aurora Municipal Center. I'll like say it out. That's where Campfire is nice, because you can drop a location marker.
Correct.
For folks. Like back in the day when we did it purely on the channels within the Discord, we could put that, but all those people in the Discord, when it was like at its in its golden era, I'll say, knew exactly what you were talking
Maps
about.
Pins.
Yes, because we had Google Maps pins. Everything was linked. It was really beautiful. And people automatically knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
If I said go to Purple Dino next,
I was gonna say Field of Blue.
90% of the people knew go to Field of Blue. People exactly knew go to the Big Whirly.
I was gonna
people
say
knew
even
exactly
more
that.
Like, Trinity Church or something.
Yeah,
it's
Trinity
like,
Baptist.
How many Trinity Baptists are in a city? It's usually like 10.
Yeah, we know. Or
we know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, or we'd say go to Mars.
Oh, I know exactly where that's.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many like
I'll take your rocket ship.
Planetary parks there are just in the Meadowwood area.
Yeah.
But there's 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
So if I said Mars, I go to Pluto or go to Uranus.
Oh, no.
People knew exactly where to go.
Goodness.
And it's because we had familiarity with the Pokestops and the card or the postcards.
Correct.
We battled at those gyms, so people just knew. Now we have a newer group that's not fully versed in all those locations, which makes sense because they've also added a lot of new locations. So, like, I don't know all the Dyna's D-Max, G-Max locations.
Those ones pop everywhere. Yeah.
Well, they're based on small businesses, allegedly. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So, like, the Pool and Save by my job, I see one there, and I'm like,
That's pretty funny.
How random, but why not? Why isn't my job here? Or why isn't the other 2 restaurants nearby there? Right. That's where it's kind of weird how they kind of
around my apartment, it shuffles between restaurants. But, But I guess all that to say is, like, one, please try to practice patience. Whether that's you're an older player and you're dealing with newer players that might not know, or you're a new player and you're frustrated because you don't know what's going on or the information. Just in general, everyone be more patient, and then also just enhance your community. Do the best that you can to be part of that community, because it really does pay dividends in the end. Like, that's awesome.
I know in terms of like even doing the research, I think that helps too. Yeah. Take that little time. If you're going to ask someone a question, like ask Google that sometimes, or ask Ecosia, the other search engines, because other search engines exist as well.
I just had that conversation with someone.
Did you?
Well, no, it's like my buddy was complaining to me about why people don't like search stuff anymore, like on their own. Whether it's Google, whether it's Akosha, whether it's Chat GPT or whatever it is, why don't people search answers on their own? And I was like, because it's much easier for me to wait for Jack's little Teams bubble to be green, and then I can ask him whatever I need to ask. And it's usually something as simple as, how do I put something in the microwave? Anyway,
That's fair.
Point is like, there is a lot you can do on your own. There's a lot of resources out there.
Yeah.
But even with that, I would say, especially in community events, don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to not know, because I think that's another one that halts a lot of people, is they're like, I don't know, and I feel like a dumbass for asking, or like...
Well, and that's where I'd advocate for people to get there like a couple minutes beforehand.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I know for most events, I'm usually there like anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour before the event starts.
That's true.
Just to kind of get myself in order. I'm going through my bag space.
Because
I'm
people
getting
don't
my
know
teams.
you have a secret burrow under AMC. You just live
Yeah, I just was like, I just pop up on my surprise. But it's one of those things where I like to get to places. I don't like to rush to areas. I don't like waiting in traffic or like being in a hurry. So I'll get to places early just to unwind. And that's for like a lot of things.
Bro, I got it.
What?
We buy an RV and we have an Aurora Masters mobile lounge. So whenever we have an event,
Dude, that would be dope. that's
anyway,
so much money.
Sorry, anyway.
But yeah, like, but that's one thing I highly advocate for people is like get to the event early, do like a little check-in, or you can ask questions during that time. Like, I met a dad with his 2 kids that showed up early, and we like kind of they asked about their teams. I gave some kind of feedback. And other people were there to give feedback, like other experienced trainers. Yep. And I thought it was helpful for them. Every now and then I'll see them playing, and they seem like a little more confident. Even the fact, like, again, they were able to ask that question and they weren't scolded. Yeah. Because oftentimes when the raid happens, like, I don't know what a perfect IV is for every Pokemon. I don't.
It's always 42069.
That'd be kind of funny. But that's one piece of information I rarely keep in my mind because there's just too many numbers.
Correct.
But I can tell you, like, use these Pokemon against that because that's what I focus on.
Well, that's why
I'm more trying to beat it for the deck.
I was going to say, that's why we have nerds like Zach with us.
Yes.
Because Zach's always like, oh, perfect is 2319.
There's bound to be at least one person in the group who knows it.
Yes.
Because that's what they're going for.
Correct.
A lot of folks, when they go for the stuff, they go for 1 or 2 raids. So, like, doing the Raikos or coming up as Entei, that'll be one. Have your water Pokemon ready because it's a fire. Water? Yeah, water. Have your Blastoises ready. Have your Kingvers ready. Lapras, I think it would still be decent, even though it's part ice, so it could still get hurt by it. But
I think it'd be fine. Same with the
Drover. Can it know Solar Beam?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. So what do we
now
do?
I'm gonna research.
Yeah.
Let's research together.
While you're researching, you heard about any of the leaks?
With which game?
Let's go.
With
the new Pokemon Go stuff.
So all I heard, like you said, with the whole we're keeping the same team, whatever. Basically, that has like a 6 to 9 month window, which makes perfect sense. It goes through the end of the year,
through the Go Wild event.
Yes,
if they do that again,
because everything.
Assume they're going to, but
yeah, everything's pretty much phased out for this year for 2025.
Okay.
2026 can be a whole new ballpark.
Oh.
Because, again, like any business, you're going to do an audit. You're going to check and see how things fare.
Especially if you just spent $3.5 billion.
Yes. That's why it's like, when people are like, it's not going to change, I'm like, it has to, because that's the game by its very nature evolves.
Yes.
So it will evolve at some point. It's just, it won't be super quick.
Correct.
Give it some time, which is what Scopely's going to do. Any business would. And then they'll see, all right. My hope is like when they come on, raid passes drop back to 100. That's going to be an automatic like high five.
Unlimited raid passes.
We're not going to limit you because they're like, we want you to enjoy your stuff. You're still going to go and we're still going to promote. To me, the better option would be to have better amenities or better perks for in-person rating, like physical rating. Because, again, remote rating works beautifully for folks who can't make it physically to the location for whatever reasons they may be.
Yes.
I think that's great. I think that should have been a feature.
But like, would you say like double the rare candies if you went in person?
Why not?
That's why I'm asking.
I would want that. I would love that.
That's what I'm saying. Or like double rare candies, double.
Like I want that. I want global trading.
Oh yeah.
Because again, we can
I
literally do
want to make
everything
Poke
else.
Babies, dude.
I think that could be possible.
I want
It's
to
just
force my Pokemon to.
I think if anything, there'd be like a
Cold store.
There'll probably be like a daycare, or maybe it'll be a sandwich shop feature where they work together and you come back from the sandwich shop, or they go to a spa and you come back and you have little
Take you to the
eggies.
sandwich shop.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of different things that could be done there. It just depends on what they do. But
I'm just saying, I would buy infinitely more incubators if I could control the eggs.
yeah, I would too, especially because again, we're hitting a point where in a few generations, like in another few years, we're going to be caught up, and then they're going to have to reinvigorate the game somehow.
Correct.
Because they're moving really fast. Granted, we still don't have Mimikyu, and then someone like Turtle Master has shown me some image of like some Pokemon, and I don't know what it was. It didn't look like anything I've seen. It honestly felt like Friday Night at Freddy's like image, and I was like, I don't know what the heck that is. He's like, you don't think that's Mimikyu? I was like, no, that's not my boy.
Oh no,
that's not Humes. But I'll show it to you. But it gave me Friday Night at Freddy vibes.
That's pretty funny.
And I was just like, I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, but
do you see it?
To your point. Oh,
what is that?
That's fake news, is what that is.
Like, I don't know if that was a screenshot from his game or not, because I never got a pop-up of that. But it could be, maybe it is a new Pokemon premiere with Pokemon ZA, and they'll like randomly drop it in, but it just has Friday Night at Freddy vibes.
Honestly, this looks fake to me, but...
yeah. Well, and again, that's where I was just like, who knows?
No, if it was Mimikyu, the eyes would still be down below. Anyway,
exactly. That's why I was like, for those who know,
I don't know.
If you know, you know.
I haven't seen that image. I feel like I would have seen it.
Well,
elsewhere, but
and that's where again, when they release certain features, like you said, they don't exactly have the best communication.
Okay,
that's another thing I hope they improve, because games like the Jurassic Park game, they're great about their messaging. They're like, here's this stuff.
Here's a dinosaur.
Pokemon Sleep, fantastic with their messaging. They're fantastic with their reward system for any glitches that may happen.
Yep.
Even glitches I never personally experienced.
Yeah.
I'll just give it to everyone. Yep, they're like, here's an envelope, here's X amount of rewards, and I'm like, this is fire.
Here's a cookie.
Yeah, like I think I've only spent $5 on Pokemon Sleep.
That's a lot of money.
It is. Like, to me, because my goal was $0, I spent $5 because there was a Mimikyu event, and I'm weak. I'm so weak. But beyond that, the game has a great user interface to explain things and do certain things. Now, do I know like what level I can get to for things or why there's certain caps? No. But that doesn't hurt my gameplay. With Pokemon Go, there's a lot of different elements, like you said, that Scopely could easily tap into and use. Like the whole costume thing. To me, that's going to be the easiest money. Give us some costumes from Pokemon Unite. Nintendo, I'm sure, would be happy because you're not impeding the IP. You're actually encouraging it because you're saying this is from Pokemon Unite. If you want to see more costumes sooner, play this game.
Yeah, I'm still holding out hope that that'll be in a mainline Pokemon game too sometime.
I think it'd be great.
Like costume Pokemon, it's killer to me. I'm looking at there's literally a Pikachu with a Rowlet costume next to your face.
Yes. And then like my Mimikyu.
And then the really cute Mimikyu.
Yeah.
Like that's official Pokemon merch.
Yeah.
And it's Mimikyu from like a cafe.
Exactly. Like we have the Statue of Liberty Pika. We have the Kimono Pika. Like there's all sorts. We have Arcanine with a Pikachu on his back from a marching band. Like there's so many elements to Pokemon that they could easily implement that to me would be easy money. If you charge $1 for every costume, $1 typically count like within how Zach kind of equated it is 100 coins.
Yeah.
$1 for 100 coins.
Mm-hmm.
So if every costume was $1 and it was just like, and I could buy costumes for just one Pokemon each, like you have to spend it, I'd probably buy a few costumes. And then times that by the million of players that do it, that is an immediate bonus check.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
I mean, that's how they do it in tons of other games.
Yeah.
Like Fortnite, for instance.
That's why I was like, I don't think the items have to be expensive to break the game.
No.
And costumes it would make it to where that Pokemon couldn't leave. unless you took the costume
like,
off.
Yeah, like it wouldn't have home functionality.
Well, yeah, like
Unless
you couldn't.
does.
That would be sweet too, but that's where again, Nintendo ultimately has control of its property.
Yep.
It's just giving a lease out to Scopely now to say work within these parameters and we're good.
Yep.
You can still make money, but you still have to work within these parameters, and I'm sure Scopely will find its way.
Yeah,
Because just like Jurassic Park, life will always find a way.
Life always finds
People who want money will always find a way.
Xenomorph dinosaurs. Like,
Oh, God.
the new one coming out. But yeah, okay. I got. We're getting close to time. I got a question for you.
Ooh,
It is currently like towards the end of March.
yes.
Which means April Fool's is coming around. There's always an April Fool's event / something happens in Pokemon Go. Our favorite thus far, at least as far as I know, is the 8-bit that they did.
Yes.
That
was glorious.
that was great. In fact, again, I would probably pay money for my game to permanently be an 8-bit.
Scopely, please have that option.
At least in terms of the sprites in my storage and things like that. They can still be 3D in the world or whatever. But
Yeah.
I really love that. So I was going to ask, do you have any idea of what they might do or something you would think would be kind of interesting?
Like a hope and dream for
Yeah, sure.
for April 1st.
Like that image screamed April Fool's to me that you showed me. But anyway.
It does scream April Fools. I think it'd be funny if it's just another day of Dittos or another day of Zororas.
Okay.
I think would be really fun. And they just increase it without telling anybody, especially for like raids as well. Like everything's just Ditto everywhere.
That would be kind of fun.
Like Ditto 5-star raids,
I like your
Ditto
idea better.
Gigantamax Dittos,
G-Max did.
Gmax would actually be really fun. Because then he just like wiggles and shit, but then like he could transform and then he'd be like pretty monstrous.
Yes.
I would love
Ditto.
that.
I was just remembering the scenes from Detective Pikachu.
Oh, that Nightmare Fuel.
The real Ditto.
Yeah, that was one thing people were like, if you pick Ditto to be a real Pokemon, I'm judging you. And I was like, when I picked Ditto, I just liked it because I thought it could only transfer into other Pokemon.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
As soon as it had human applications, I was like, oh no, that's like terrifying.
Oh, please, no.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better than my idea. My idea
What's your
was
idea?
if it was in a circle, let's call it that, they make you change a team for a day. So, like, you'd be Valor for a day. I'd be, like, or Mystic
They
for a
just
day.
rotate us?
Yeah, like, rotate us, and then Mystics are all Instincts for a day. It's, like, harmless enough, just really silly.
I would be so upset.
so funny.
I'm like, I'm trash.
That's what I'm saying.
What happened to me?
April Fool's. Hopefully no one would pay money to try to switch it back.
Someone would.
Yeah, you know.
Someone would.
I thought that would be pretty funny.
Like, if anything, they would just disable and be like, you can't buy this item today.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, or you can't use this item today. They just disable it. This is your team.
So, yeah,
that, or they make it sell Team Rocket. I'd actually be okay with that.
That'd be sick. And then I'd be sad that they took it away. Like,
yeah, I might bring it back.
Yeah, let me be Team Rocket.
See, that'd be kind of cool if Scopely brought in new teams.
Yes, that's kind of where I was going to get at eventually.
That would be so sweet.
Because we always dreamed of like the Team Harmony with Lugia.
Well, to me, that's what I don't get. Like when again, take the idea, Scopely, for the whole campfire stuff. If that continued endeavor is, I think like any groups that you're a part of should be able to make like little emblems, just like you would have in Halo. Like you can have like your little team icon. Because Jurassic Park has that. Like you can join teams and squads, and you can make your thing, but it just has to be the name of your group, and it still has to be all PG-13 or PG. And for Campfire, like they don't want anyone under 13, so it has to be age appropriate.
Yeah, I remember obviously playing games that aren't censored. But more or less it's like creating your own guild emblem. Like when I played Ragnarok with my siblings, we created like a guild, and then we were able to upload just like a PNG as long as it's a certain size. Then that was our guild emblem, and everyone recognized us because we did shenanigans or whatever. But like something like that. But like you said, as long as it's within certain limits or whatever, it makes sense for Pokemon. That'd be really fun. I would like that a lot. I know that it kind of lets you upload your area logo or something like that.
Yeah, well, and you can upload a picture for yourself in Campfire.
Correct.
Because it is a platform that interacts with other games of theirs.
Yeah, but like you said, it'd be really fun if you could do that and like get it attached to like your your in-game trainer or something.
Yeah.
Like it's an armband or it's a
You can make like a vest, and again, the stylizing options are pretty vast for what you can do.
Yeah.
And then again, people can report it if it is like randomly offensive, or like how something racist. They reported his name.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't, it was literally that word, something racist, or
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
and they're upset. I think
The
one
name
of
was just literally something racist.
yeah.
But
Oh man.
But anyway, yeah. So I thought that would be kind of a fun little exercise. So
No, that's
All
sweet. In terms of another week with the potential 27
okay.
something megas that are coming out in Pokemon ZA. For those that are going to get ZA, I'm excited for that because we're going to make a whole on Discord area for
ZA
that
channel,
because
yeah.
we need to have. I want to have meetups to do trades
For sure.
with people because I don't know if they'll have global trading. I'm sure they will, but I still want to. It'd be a good way to meet people to do stuff. What is one of the Pokemon you're hoping has a mega form?
I think the easiest is Flygon.
Fair.
I don't believe it's on that league list. But
Did they already reveal like who's on
there's
the
20.
list?
Oh, I thought
They just have like clues and hints. They haven't figured out exactly who's on the list yet.
I'm not sure then. Flygon's probably definitely one of them that I
Okay.
would love to see a mega of. Just because Flygon's awesome, and I feel like it gets a little underappreciated,
Yeah,
and
he's beautiful.
underrecognized, mainly because it's like from Gen 3, which also has Metagross and Salamence, so it's just like that gen was loaded with like what I'd call
the
pseudo
dragons.
legendaries. Like Flygon's technically not a pseudo legendary, but it's pretty close.
And see,
Yeah, how about you?
because you just dropped legendary,
Oh, okay.
I want the legendary Pokemon.
Mega legendaries?
No, specifically the legendary Pokemon.
Oh, the legendary Pokemon.
That is
Gotcha.
Arcanine.
Arcanine.
I want him to have
Both forms.
or
What if they did?
them to have their mega form.
What if there's a third Growlithe? Like a third Growlithe. Mr. President, a third Growlithe has appeared on the field. So there's regular Growlithe, Cantonian. Then there's Hisuian. What if they did like a Colonian? Right? We kill
I want it to be water type.
Yeah.
I wanted just to
not?
throw off the whole because I still remember from the Alolan when they were trying to figure out the forms, and someone made a water Growlithe. I think it was Majestic.
Yes.
I would love that too.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. Because like we got 3 Meowths. We got Cantonian Meowth.
And we
got
don't
Galarian
need
Meowth.
all those cats. We don't.
Alolan Meowth's kind of funny. I like Berserker, so I really like Galarian Meowth. But
Yeah, he's a sweet one.
but
Someone made an Alolan Pichu.
I saw that.
It looks so
did.
cute.
I was like, yes. Why didn't we get this?
I agree.
But yeah. So I like that. I like
I
obviously I
want a
love
water pepper.
Arcanine. I used the shit out of Hisuian Arcanine in my most recent playthrough, Scarlet Violet.
Yeah.
And
Wait, did you restart the game?
No, it's like once you get the DLCs,
Yeah.
you get access to Hisuian.
Have you finished all those dexes for that? Because did you see in Pokemon Home that there's like more legendaries to be released?
Yes.
That's what I've been working on.
Yeah. So
It's
I
really
finished all
hard.
that. I finished all that.
You did?
Correct.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Dang,
But
dude.
it's fun. I loved it.
Kudos.
But I used the Hisuian Arcanine. I love that Pokemon.
He's so awesome.
And it was basically like full send. So I did all the like takedown type moves, whereas like it does damage to a recoil damage, but also just does a billion damage to your opponents, like wild charge.
You're just like,
Yeah.
just throw your whole body into
Whoa.
it. Die.
Anyway, you got anything else for the people?
Mainly to
Any
be
other
safe,
questions?
please do your research on things. Please don't be afraid to ask questions and show up a little early. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. And look forward to really terribly done tutorial videos by JayTi7N.
Yeah, that I'm kind of excited to
I
see
can't
these
wait.
terribly
we got
done
the,
videos.
We got the green screen. We got everything, dude. I'm ready.
All right. What's your professor name going to be?
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't think about that. I gotta come up with one. It's usually a tree.
Well, you could do that, or you could be like a researcher. You could be like researcher JayTi7N. I could be engineer JackJack.
Okay. I want to be Hex Maniac, the big boopy girl. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'll come up with something, professor or researcher otherwise.
Yeah, because professors, you do have to be named after a tree of some sort.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to be a professor of like Colorado, you could be a Texas professor and find their tree. Like
Professor Douglas Fir.
Yeah, Douglas. That'd be a
Well, I
that's not a
feel
bad
like
name.
Professor Aspen would be kind of poignant too.
Aspen would be dope. I want to be Cottonwood.
Cottonwood. Hell yeah. Oh, Dogwood.
Dog. Oh God, those
Professor
trees
Dogwood.
smell so bad.
They're so bad. Ginkgo trees, they're beautiful, but they also because the ginkgo fruit smells awful.
Does it?
It smells like vomit.
Oh God. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're beautiful trees though. The leaves are so cool.
Yeah, I like Professor Aspen.
Dogwood. Yeah, I'll come up with something. But anyway, be safe out there. Feel free to ask questions and look forward to other things. Oh, real quick, we didn't talk about it.
What?
We can maybe talk about it next time. Maybe not. I don't know. Vanillite was confirmed as the April Community Day.
Yeah.
So we get an ice cream cone. Pretty excited about that. I like Vanillite.
Yeah. I feel like I just want to go as soon as you like send me those images. I just want to go get ice cream.
Duh.
Like I want to go get a Blizzard, but I can't go to get a Blizzard no more. I have to go to just more local vendors because Dairy Queen did bad things.
Oh,
bad things.
DQ. We're
Yeah.
not going to DQ anymore.
Which is so sad.
Anyway, we love you guys.
Yep.
Be safe out there.
Bye.
Bye.